Good afternoon. I would like to say, probably get asked a question about it, but just Christian Darrisaw, obviously tough loss for our team, but just wanted to say about Christian, what a warrior he's been and what an unbelievable job he's done from the moment he stepped in. Really, this training camp, I thought he was playing his best football. I thought he was playing all-pro level football, and just been a warrior for his teammates. And aside from the play, it really stemmed from the attention to detail, the work ethic, the leadership he had in that room. He's not a big vocal leader, but the way he went about his work day in and day out, that's why obviously no one more than him, but just killed me that happened for him. And I know he'll be back, but just wanted to mention that about Christian.
Wes, have you guys figured out how you want to move on at that left tackle spot yet?
I'm not going to give you the answer you want right now, but yeah, we do have a plan, really it's just finding ways with the guys we have to get our best five out there on the field.
Wise, what is the challenge like to not have that kind of guy you could just set it, forget about on that left side, and somebody you do have to kind of plan around like you do most people?
Yeah, it just creates another layer there where you kind of feel like you have that blind side kind of taken care of when you have a Christian Darrisaw, and just creates another little layer in game planning and challenge for us, as it is every week in certain spots, but just a challenge for us to make sure that no plays are good if we don't have protection and if we can't help guys out when needed up front.
What's with TJ Hockenson, if you get him back this week? Do you kind of bring him back in stages, or is it full go for him? How do you look at the way you would use him if he is back Hockenson?
I think we can continue to evaluate that going forward in practice, but I know TJ is healthy, and it's been a long time since he played ball, and I know he's eager to get out there, and I don't think you want to overdo anything like that, but it's kind of going to be an assessment throughout the week. What does he feel like, and how that plays out going forward. But if he is out there, I don't see any limitations, athletically. Getting back into football shape. He's been working extremely hard with Tyler and his crew. So he's in great shape, but we do understand that football shape can be a little bit different.
What are sort of the unique things that he can bring to what you guys are trying to do?
Well, I think you've seen throughout his career just the production that he brings and the mismatch that he can create against safeties, linebackers, his ability to win versus match or man coverage. All those things kind of are pretty unique for a tight end who also gives you value in the run game as well, like he does. I think he's a complete tight end. I don't think you throw him in there. There were a lot of instances where teams wanted to get kind of smaller against us last year. Having 12 personnel in there with TJ and thinking they're going to play nickel, and we had some good success running the football as well. So he can do all the jobs, and obviously people notice the pass game stuff, but he's a complete tight end and just a really good football player.
Just in terms of TJ and his football IQ element, what do you remember about when he got here and came in? He got here on a Tuesday and then came in and played on a Sunday, and I think we expected him to play like 10 snaps, and he played 60 or something like that. I guess, what does that say about him as a player?
I think it says, like you mentioned, just his football intelligence, his love for the game. I know it's been killing him to be out of the game, but for him to come in on a short week, and we try to make things as digestible as possible, but but especially when you're coming in mid-year and you're trying to learn the offense, really just you're learning that game plan. I mean, to know kind of the starting point, we hope we have a good teaching progression throughout the off season, and we're teaching concepts this way, and just to memorize and learn things in game week when things have evolved, or there's a concept that we've taught that's here, but we're adding things on the backside, things like that, for him to be able to handle that just shows a lot about his intelligence and his work ethic to get it done.
How do you go about kind of illustrating for Sam Darnold what that is going to provide within the offense based on kind of how the looks have been so far?
I think since he's been back and been able to be with us, I mean, at least we've gotten some routes on air. We've gotten some things, where he can kind of feel what he's like a little bit running routes, but. There'll be a little bit of an adjustment period there, and hopefully we can get him more in practice with the two of those guys working together. But Sam's an accurate thrower of the football, and I don't see a lot of issue. TJ's a pretty easy guy to throw to as well. So.
Where's Cam Akers at reacclimating to the offense, and do you think he'll be part of the game plan this week and moving forward?
Yeah, I think Cam's in a good spot, and I do envision him being a part of the game plans going forward. And to what extent that happens, obviously, Aaron Jones has done some really good things for us, and is a valuable player to our offense. So, just how much that is with Ty Chandler, with Cam being involved, but. He's in a good place right now. He's moving well. He's strong. He looks fast. So I definitely envision him being a part of it.
How do you balance with Aaron Jones? Like, he's been so good, and you probably want him out there all the time, with maybe giving him a blow here or there to, extend what he can do later in the game.
Yeah, later in the game, later in the year, all of those types of things. You try to be smart with giving him opportunities to catch a breath and also take some of the physical pounding off of him. But yeah, he's a great player, and you want him in there for just about everything. But just naturally with some of the third downs, getting CJ involved with hasn't worked out. As far as some of the early down stuff, getting Ty some more carries or getting Cam some carries. And some of that's been a little bit situationally. You try to give a guy a breather who's had maybe a long series. Well, we have 50 plays in the game, and maybe there's a long drive on the other side, and in real time he's been sitting there for 15 minutes, and he's as fresh as can be, ready to roll. It's kind of hard not to put him in there, or the game's in a tight spot where they're all crucial plays, but you feel like, hey, we gotta have him in there at that time, and he wants to be in there really the whole game. We kind of have to be smart, and we have to be the ones to say, hey, this series is going to Ty or going to Cam, and kind of stick with that as we go forward.
You mentioned the 50 plays, and I think Kevin's mentioned that a few times, that there's just been some games where there's just not a lot of raw plays. And is that just coincidental, or do you see any common threads about why you have had these games where there's just not a ton of plays overall?
Yeah, I think generally it's a combination of just kind of everything that's happening in the game, whether it's us not sustaining a drive, and that could mean a quick score, or that could mean we got a short field from our defense getting a turnover, and we got a quick score. Maybe they've been on the field a little bit longer, defensively. I mean, just kind of a combination of some of those things. But I'm really focused on our side of the ball, just being more consistent throughout drives, and understanding that there are games like that where you don't get as many football plays. And it just shows the importance of each drive is that much more critical when it comes to execution. Not not hurting ourselves, not getting ourselves behind the chains on a pre-snap penalty, those sort of things, or a penalty within the down where now you're getting backed up and making it difficult to keep the drive going.
Wes, how's Dalton Risner been looking in practices?
He's been great. He's been Dalton, just full of energy out there, finishing every play. I mean, he looks like he hasn't lost a step and potentially gained a step as a veteran player, who's had kind of some fresh legs right now, kind of been chomping at the bit a little bit to get out there.
Just in terms of the shortage of plays, is that kind of what you attribute to less targets for someone like Jordan Addison? Is it just that you haven't had as many opportunities to throw the ball, or we're ahead by a couple of scores early in games, or is that something that's happening schematically, or what's kind of the feeling on that?
Yeah, I think naturally when you have less plays, there's less opportunities for someone or some number of people to touch the football. I think we've had probably the most runs on early downs that we've had this year as far as percentage-wise. So that's been a contributing factor as well. But we certainly want to get Jordan going. Jordan's a great football player. Loved the way he played last Thursday. He was flying all over the field. He can separate. He can win down the field. He can do a lot of things for us. So certainly want to get him going in football games. Never trying to force it to anyone. Want the ball to go to the guys that it's supposed to go to based on what the coverage dictates. So, but he's going to be involved in that, and he's going to have his games. And these things kind of go in cycles. It's a long season. You got 10 football games left. There's a lot of balls and a lot of yards out there for a lot of guys.
Wes, the last time you guys played the Colts, it was obviously pretty memorable. What do you remember about just that comeback and everything that went into it?
Yeah, I hope I never have to go through that again. But just to be a part of kind of history, you don't want to get down that much. But it showed you kind of the resilience of the guys we have, of Kevin dialing up play calls and really not panicking, early in that second half, not going to 2-minute mode right off the bat, running football plays and running offense and executing, and guys just executing one play at a time. And then you look up and now we got a chance. Looked like we might going to tie at the end there, if you remember. And in overtime, it almost ran out, I believe was what happened. And we said, we can't tie this now. We got to get this win here. But it is, I think it's just a good lesson for everyone that the game is never out of reach. And, it's never time to panic. And if we just go out and execute and do the things that we had hoped to do early in the game, we can move the ball and be successful.
Is there any reason to bring that game up in this week's preparation? Because obviously they're such a different team, the Colts are, and you guys as well.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that game until you just mentioned it. But like I said, I hope I don't have to go through another game like that. Just the up and down emotion. As coaches, we'd like to just blow everyone out if we could. The less stress possible. I know the fans want to see a good game and all that, but we like to sometimes take a breath in the fourth quarter. It doesn't happen very often, though, in the NFL.